once I quit drinking, my job got so much easier too. I mean, I don't think there's
Yes.
anyone who's gone through this process of deciding that alcohol is not working for them who hasn't felt the anxiety, the panic of waking up at 3 a.m., the wondering how the hell you're going to pull yourself together for another day at work, the feeling like you're strung so thin or that you can't cope with one more deliverable landing on your desk. So that is incredibly common. When I quit drinking, I was not ready to look for another job at that moment. I just wanted to stop feeling so bad. And I always tell women I work with, even if you hate your job, even if you have questions about your marriage, your first 100 days should be just about not drinking, because once you stop drinking, everything else gets better. It really does. So once I stopped and got some different coping tools and started having that negative feedback loop of drinking lift, I felt more able to cope with my job, to handle the stress, to pivot with the changes. I had more energy. And once I had that, both I realized my job was a lot easier than I felt it was when I was drinking, but also I was capable of so much more. And I wasn't trapped because I was good at what I did. And yet I also had more energy and more optimism to pursue other things. So, it really is, you have to deal with item one first, getting out of the
Yeah.
drinking hangover recovery cycle. But, I think that hating your job or feeling trapped or feeling anxiety and panic, that's no way to live. And it's a signal that something needs to change. And you need to listen to that, because, holding on for another decade and thinking that maybe this is just what adulting is sort of dreading going in every day and being happy by planning a vacation or going to happy hour or your bottle of wine after work. That isn't the way you're meant to live.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so powerful. And I don't know where this quote is from, but something along the lines of, when the pain of staying the same outweighs the fear of change, that's when change happens. Right. So it's like, that's when women get off the hamster wheel. That's when enough is enough. And, you know, once you put the bottle down and really take a look at what's going on, then you are empowered to either say, okay, I'm a sticking around here, but there are some things that need to change in this role, and maybe there are some boundaries I need to create, or some conversations I need to have with my boss. Right? You could do that, or down the road you could say, maybe I'm going to take this time to get some clarity on what's right for me. Maybe it's not this. But all those things, you need to feel that clarity of mind, and it really empowers you. It gives you confidence and courage to say, wait a sec, I thought I only had two options: stay and be miserable and have a glass of wine, or, whatever else. But no, I have like 10 different options. And I get to choose. And what a gift that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So take us through step one.
Yeah, absolutely. So, step one is what I call overcoming self sabotage. And so, this is all about getting out of your own way. And we've touched on this, but it's overcoming fears and limiting beliefs around holding a job you love and making enough money. If you cling to that belief, cling, you're not gonna move forward. I could find the perfect job for you and dangle it like a carrot over your head. You're not gonna reach out for that if you're trapping yourself with mindset. So step one, overcome self-sabotage. And there's all different things here, right? And we learned about this together at IPEC. There are limiting beliefs. There's the inner critic who tells you that you're not good enough to make a career switch into something you love, right? It's a thought problem. So it's really getting to the heart of that and getting that on track, so that once you do decide what you want to do next, your mindset is straight.
Yeah,
That's
and
step one.
I see a lot of women in not just work, but in all aspects of their lives. And this is where I was. Um, Both Betty and I do core energy coaching, and there's 7 levels that you that you see the world through. They're sort of your mindset or your default reaction. And a lot of what I see with women, especially women who are either in the drinking cycle or coming out, is they're between level 1 and level 3. And
Mm.
level 3 is coping, tolerating, making excuses, bending over backwards to maintain the status quo so that you don't have to change, so that you don't have to engage in any level of conflict. So you're really doing everything you can to excuse away the way you feel. The second one is level 1, which is more victim, right? You feel powerless to make a change over people, places, things, situations. And when I was working in my last corporate job, when I was drinking every night, I definitely felt a combination of that, right? So I felt in terms of tolerating, explaining away, doing everything I could to cope so to not have to change. I said, okay, but I'm making a really good salary. My boss was at the time very toxic, very hard. Um, our team had turned over, the entire team except me and her, twice during my 4 years there. And I was the person holding everything together and filling the gaps in between and just under immense stress. And by the way, drinking didn't help. That's probably why I stayed stuck and didn't leave when everybody else did. But what I said was, I make a great salary. Yes, my boss is toxic. Yes, I'm drinking every night. Yes, I'm recovering every day. Yes, I hate looking at my email every morning. And yet, I like the walk to Starbucks, and some people in my office are nice, and there's a nice courtyard outside, and I can walk to the park, and the commute's slow. And even though I'm dying of anxiety and panic, and everybody else had said, screw it, I'm out of here. This isn't worth it. I can get another great job. I was like, well, I can take my son to baseball in the spring twice a week at 4:30 as long as I work till 10 p.m. So, I mean, that was such tolerating, excusing, doing everything I could to not have to change. And that was based on level 1, pure fear, feeling powerless, feeling like a victim, thinking if I took another job, it would probably be more business travel. I would have to commute, so I couldn't take my daughter to the bus stop in the morning. I would no longer be able to take my son to baseball. And by the way, I'm also a victim because I'm the primary breadwinner and we have a mortgage and my kids are a decade away from college, right? It was such a place of being stuck and not feeling opportunities and hopefulness.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love the way that you wove in the energy levels with this topic. It's so true. And, I actually love to give the Energy Leadership Index debrief that you're talking about here with the energy levels to kick it off with my clients because I want to see which energy level are they sitting in so that they can have the awareness, right? Because that's the first step to know, what's really going on here. We're not just zombies walking around. There's an awareness about what's really going on. And then from there, you can make a choice and say, do I want to sit in this or do I want to move out of this? And, step 2 of my process, identifying your dream role, is really what is, it's really moving you out of this level 3, I'm tolerating things and excuses, right? Oh, but I got Starbucks, right? And step 2, identify your dream role. That's really, I designed that to kind of try to put, and I don't want to do too much coachy speak for your listeners here, but I designed step 2, identify your dream role, around trying to move people into level 5 energy, which for your listeners is when, instead of feeling stuck, like you only have 1 or 2 choices, all of a sudden, it's almost like Wizard of Oz when she steps out of the black and white into color and there's this rainbow and it's like, sky's the limit. Now, oh my gosh, I didn't know the world was in color. Oh my gosh, look at all these choices in front of me, right? That's what it's all about. When you start to get clarity on what other options are out there for you, the whole world changes from black and white to color. And it's incredible.